My name is Harold Morrow. I've been in scouting 50 years ago, and I still go back and help once in a while because it's a shame to let all that experience go to waste. So we're going to be working with a few knots today. Starting with this is a simple overhand, which is that. Simplest knot you can find. Main thing about a knot, it needs to be easy to tie and hold tight and easy to untie after you're finished with it. So that's what we think about. A figure 8 knot, this is the simple overhand, just one turn, the simplest thing you can do. But a figure 8 knot is the same thing. You go around to come in the back door. A square knot is the simplest and one of the best ways of tying the ends of two ropes together. It's left over right and then right over left and back through that. So it makes a nice square picture. It holds good and it's easy to untie. Even if it's wet, what you do is you kind of bend it back like this and start taking it apart, and it'll come apart easily. That's for tying two different sizes of rope together. So actually this is the way it's usually tied. So the sheet band is best for tying two different size ropes together. Clove hitch, go around and across and then up through there. So you end up with this. And it'll hang on tight even on a slick pipe or railing.
When would you want to use the clove hitch?
And a clove hitch is to tie to a railing, or you'd use it to tie a team up to a hitch rack too. You can.
Also for tying tent post stays, tying the hitch over that.
Oh yeah, sure.
For the guy line.
Of course, if you're putting it in the ground, you can just do this and drop that over the peg.
Very nice. What was that?
That was a clove hitch.
That was the same clove.
Yeah, that's a clove hitch. It just comes out like this.
You just tie it freehand in the air.
Two half hitches can be used for the same thing. That's once around and then one more time around, just to base the line. Actually, what you've done is tied a clove hitch on the standing part, on the running part of the line. And a bowline is used a lot in the Navy to, like tying an anchor to the end of a line. And it comes out looking like this. Usually the loop down there is a lot bigger than that. And the bitter end will be inside the loop. It'll work the other way. Doesn't hold quite as good.
Basically a sheet bend on a loop.
Yes.
It's tied the same way. It ends up being tied the same way as a sheet bend, but it's on a loop instead of a straight line.
When somebody's taught you a line, you're in the water and you need to be hauled out. So you cross over like this and back down through, and that will hold 80% of the strength of the line. And one of the other things is, since it's in the water, it's an easy to untie because you swing it over like that, it'll come right out.
Can you do that one more time?
Somebody throws you a line, get it like that, twist it over like that, and back down through itself. And it's easy to untie because if you turn it over like that, it loosens it and it comes right apart. So we're going to do a bowline behind your back, so you don't have to have your eye on her, just so you know what your hands are doing.
Very nice.
This is a regular taut line hitch. Go through there once, twice, and then you hitch this over one more time and down the other side of it. And it's not going anyplace. It's not going to fall apart, but it still will move freely when you don't have pressure on it, so you can run it up or down. One thing you almost never think of is that if you have a tripod over a Dakota hole when you're building a fire, and you run this through a bale in a bucket, and you tie a taut line hitch on it, and that's the bale, and you want to get the coffee pot down a little closer to the fire, you just slide that down like that, down goes your coffee pot. Or when you want to go up, you take it the other way. You can put as high or as low as you need to be. Taut line hitch is just once around here, and then the second time you go in this notch right in there, and then around the running part of the line. And a taut line is just that. The loop will hold good as long as you have pull on here and in the loop, but you can move it up or down, either one. It's free to move, but it will not slide when you got the pull here and here.
When would you use that in scouting?
If you got it around somebody trying to pull them out.
Or a tent for the guy line.
Oh yeah, and if it's on the head stay on a tent, you want to go down to a front peg and you want to be able to tighten it up so your tent's tight. You reach out there and tighten it or loosen it. Okay, this is the taut line hitch. Oops. And you go over one. So you can see you can't move it that way, but you can move it that way easily, either way, up or down. But when you got pressure on it, you can't move it at all.
That's just a little modification of a standard taut line that you came up with by flipping that loop over the first one.
Yeah. Okay, this is the timber hitch. And you go around like that and through, around a couple times. And then it pulls against itself. It will not slide. A sheep shank is for shortening a rope, and it's just a loop in the middle of a line, which you do this way. And the girth hitch is what you use putting the saddle on, and what it does is come around like this, and it goes around and back down itself.
That's for a saddle for a horse?
That's what holds the saddle on. And essentially a girth hitch is this.
Show them how it differs from the clove hitch.
A clove hitch looks like this.
The lines are on opposite side of the loop.
And girth hitch looks like this when it's finished.
And both lines are on the same side of the loop.
Yeah.
Harold, how old are you now?
93.
Thank you very much. You've done a lot to contribute to scouting.
Thank you.